Hello everyone, welcome back to the Keep Productive YouTube channel. On today's feature, we will be diving into Timely, which is an automatic time tracking application. We'll be giving you the features, a little bit about the company, and who this is most recommended for. So join us in today's video to dive into Timely. So folks, as you can imagine, there are a lot of time tracking applications out there, and Timely is one of them. It's been around for a little bit of time now. So as I said, it's an automatic time tracking application, which means it works in the background as well as manually to help you track your time for your work hours or for your team. So let's dive into a bit about the company before we roll in. You can use the timestamps below if you want to skip ahead. So the company that runs them has recently rebranded. It's now called Memory. Now Memory AI is a company that runs two major projects. The first product is Timely, which we'll be reviewing today. And the second is a deep work tool called Devo. Now Memory, the company, are based over in Oslo, Norway, and have recently secured $6 million in funding. The main reason I tell you this one is because they're an independent company, and a lot of people don't like tracking tools to be run by bigger companies just because of the surveillance and their security concerns. So I'll explain what Timely is in a minute, but what you can do is you can download Memory onto your Mac or Windows device. So it's very strange. The application's sort of broken into two. You download Memory first, which you can download on Mac and Windows, and essentially Memory is compatible with both Timely and Devo as a product. And what it does is it tracks your activities in the background to basically bring together a log or timesheet of what you've done during the day. And that'll make sense in a moment when we talk about the AI capabilities. But all you need to know now is Timely is available on iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows to download. And you can sign in with Google, and there is also a web edition too. So you don't just have to use this as a team context, you are able to use this as a solo user. So let's run through some of the features. The first feature is to go ahead and create projects. Now projects are essentially your sort of target for each of your time tracking areas. So you can essentially create a project, edit all the details, including the hourly billing, the goal of the project, and also what type of activities fall under that specific project. You can even associate your projects to clients that you may be working with and tag them with even more details. So once you go ahead and create a project, any new time log that you create can be associated to a project, which allows you to get real-time billing to better understand how much you need to bill, and it can even associate billing automatically based on a timesheet per client or per project. Now the main area where you track your hours, you can do both manually and using the automatic time tracking. So if you wanted to do it manually, you could select a time and essentially it would appear like a calendar so that you can essentially block out periods of time. You can even schedule time in advance. And you can also add as much detail as you like to whatever event that you create and time period or duration that you start. Now with each day, once you have Memory installed, it will essentially track some of the work you're doing on your laptop. So for example, if I started a bit of time log with some of the editing for the woven course I've just done, then I can associate it to the project, the Skillshare project. So that's the project. But anything I do, for example, the Camtasia editing, the photo editing, etc., can be linked. And this is very smart. So what you can do is basically train the AI by selecting the activities you did during the day, which are tracked using the Memory app, and you can basically associate them to the day. And once you train the AI, which there'll be a guidance on, it will essentially start picking up things automatically, which will help you to track the time automatically instead of always having to manually do it. So when you open your calendar or the hours view, you get to see basically a filled out timesheet for you because it's automatically logging and associating or tagging those Memory activities to your actually hours dedicated. Now what's cool is you can also connect your Google Calendar, which will link in certain meetings. And you also have the ability to connect it with Office 365 and Gmail as well. So it associates any emails or events that occur as well associated to a certain project. And again, that's where you can train the AI. Now, if you wanted to and you worked with a team, you can essentially get reporting afterwards, which allows you to see a breakdown. You can get either custom reports or some of the templates that are pre-made, but essentially you can associate it to a project, a client, or a certain type of activity. This will give you some insight. For example, if you worked with a team, you could see exactly weekly report-wise how your team was getting on, what they were focusing on, and this sort of data can give you ways that you could fuel your team into a better direction. Maybe to advise them to spend less time on administration and more time based on their projects, or less time in meetings and more time consulting or doing deep work. The great thing as well is it does sync with applications like Asana, Team Gantt, Todoist, Monday.com, and many more. Now, if you were looking to compare it with another application, say Toggl, which is a very strong alternative, Toggl doesn't have any AI abilities like memory inside of its application. So it's more of a manual time tracking application. If you forget about it, you won't necessarily be nudged in it. Whilst with memory, it's automatically pooling that information ready for you to assign. And once it's learned it through AI, it will start associating it automatically. Toggl does have some benefits though. It's slightly cheaper than this application. I'll touch on pricing in a moment, and also has an offline tracking ability, which I wasn't able to find inside of the Timely application. So you're probably wondering, what is the price of Timely? Now you can get a trial for 14 days, very similar to the majority of other softwares out there. And if you wanted a 2-member or 2-user team, it's going to cost you $49 per month if billed monthly, which seems to be fairly high. But if you and your team spend a lot of time, whether it's a small team or a large team, constantly working out how you're spending your time and auditing that process, and you've used this sort of application in the past, it could be a very effective tool for you. If you were a freelancer looking to use it to track your time as a solo user, it's going to be $14 per month, which seems a lot more reasonable. But still seems to be a lot more expensive. I believe the pricing for Toggl is $9, so you're again paying $5 more. But are you paying for the AI? That is your question to yourself. Toggl's pricing isn't too far off. So if you're looking at 2 members on the premium plan for Toggl, it's going to be $40, $20 times 2, and that's only $9 off paying versus Timely. So folks, who do I recommend this for? Now, this application is really suitable for freelancers and small teams that are looking to manage how they use their time. Now, the thing that I would say pushes it above applications like Toggl is the AI abilities. It's automatically tracking so that you and your team don't necessarily have to do some of the legwork that may come with other applications. And that can pay real dividends, especially when you're looking to save a bit of time yourself instead of spending your time tracking. So the memory abilities is something that I know a lot of people like, but also if you're someone that is concerned about a time tracking application maybe going too far, looking at how you spend your time in certain applications, then if your security is your concern, then of course that's something to consider. But again, it's worth reading the privacy and security policies that go along with it. So Timely is a well-rounded automatic time tracking application that you can download today. I'll include all the links in the description. They have a great podcast called About Time Podcast, which I checked out on the website. It was a fairly good podcast. And also, I will be planning to do a review on Devo, which I do plan to do. I think it's either pronounced Devo or Devo. But folks, I hope you enjoyed this feature. And please do let me know with a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. And comment below if you've experienced Timely. We'd love to hear some of your opinions. But I'll talk to you all very soon. Cheers, everyone. Bye.